Like the guitar, the bass is easy to appreciate what's happening with the notes that you're playing if you get used to various patterns. We could go through and learn all the scales, which would help us to understand and remember where we are on the bass guitar. However, if we look at various patterns for those scales and runs, that also will help. So therefore, if we look at the major scale pattern on the bass, there are several ways of playing the major scale pattern, but one of them is to go across the frets. If I start on the G note, and that's the 3rd fret, so if I was to sound fret positions, it would be 3, 5, 7 on the next string underneath, which is the A string, 3, 5, 7, and then 4, 5. So here's your major scale. Now that pattern works wherever you start on the bass guitar, as long as you start on the E string or the A string. So if I started here, this note is E on the A string, 7th fret. So I'm going to play the same pattern, and because I'm at the 7th fret, then the pattern would be 7, 9, 11, 7, 9, 11, 8, 9. So that also is very useful to know. Another pattern to become familiar with is one which is spread in terms of the strings that you actually play. So if I started here with the G and I played the major scale, I would play this pattern, which is 3, 5, and then on the A string, 2, 3, 5, and then on the D string, 2, 4, 5. So that's 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 5. Now if I was to play that pattern starting here on the 8th fret of the A string, that note I know is F. So I'm going to play the same pattern, so therefore it would be 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10. So that pattern works again wherever you start on the E string or A string. For the D string and G string, it's just a case of remembering the division of notes of the scale. So for example, the division of notes for the major scale is you've got a tone, then another tone, then a semitone, then a tone, another tone, and another tone, and then a semitone. In the UK, there is a game show on TV called Countdown, where the contestants choose letters to make up words of certain lengths, and so they choose consonants or vowels. When I was just going through the separation of tones between the full tone and the semitone, I felt like I was on Countdown. I'll have a tone, I'll have another tone, I'll have a semitone, and so on. No, there's a pattern. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And so if you remember that pattern for the major scale, then it's a case of on the D string and the G string, remember to attribute the pattern wherever you are. So therefore, if I was going to play a E scale, if I start here, then I play a tone, that's 2 frets, then another tone, then a semitone, which is 1 fret, then a tone, then a tone, another tone, and then a semitone. There I've played the E major scale on 1 string, and on the G string, same. So you can start on the D string. Say for example, if I was going to play a E scale, I would start on the D string. There's my first note, and it follows the pattern. You can follow the pattern of either of the spreads that we discussed before, but then where you are, you must remember to apply the difference. Or so there's different ways of remembering which note is where on the frets and strings of the bass guitar. You have to memorize. Patterns help, and there is no substitute for practicing and becoming more familiar with the different places.